In this video we're going to take a look at topspin, backspin and sidespin. What we're really looking for is the effect of the different spins on the flight of the ball, their bounce off the table, their effect on the actual racket, how they bounce off the racket, and then finally what we can do to adjust our racket angle to counteract the effects of the different spins. So starting with topspin, as you can see here, the topspin really does make the ball go up high in the air. The robot I'm using here is set to a fairly high spin, so you can see the flight of the ball has a big dip towards the end as the topspin really takes effect and drops the ball down. And now just by tilting the racket forward a little bit there, you can see that even though there's a fairly heavy amount of topspin on the ball, we're getting the ball to come now much lower. It does tend to bounce forward quite a bit, so you can see how it's landing fairly deep on the table. And I'm just adjusting a little bit there just to get it so it bounces not quite right off the bounce. There we go. And just with a little bit of forward tilt of the racket, we can now get the ball to go quite low over the table and land about mid-table. Now just looking at backspin instead, and the flight of the ball is a little bit flatter, and as you can see, when the ball bounces off the table and hits into the bat, really does go down sharply off the bat and dives right into the table itself. Just tilting the back a little bit, and what you'll notice with backspin is that although it's tilted just about as much as the topspin ball, because the ball's going down to the table, it still means that the ball's not going to go over the net, and you actually do, for backspin, have to get a fairly significant amount of bat tilt to get the ball over the table. And in the end I was tilting the bat back so far that it was very, very difficult to get the ball to bounce back over the net, and I had to resort to actually holding it in my hand to show the differences. You can see there just the effect of a different tilt, but I also needed a little bit of forward swing just to actually get that ball to have enough forward pace to get over the net. There we go. And just playing around again with the bat angles just to show the effect of a few different bat angles. So you'll see me tilt down, straight down, and then by tilting again straight down, tilting backwards, I'm able to get the ball over the net. And now just looking at a side spin, using the robot that I was using is good because you can go to a pure side spin. You can see the curving of the ball in flight, the kicking of the ball off the table in the bounce, and how by just adjusting the angle of the racket here, I can get the ball to start going much more forward instead of out to the side. And again, this is a fairly heavy side spin that is not easy for a player to put on the ball. The robot can do it quite easily. And by tilting at about a 45-degree angle there against a very heavy side spin, I'm able to get the ball to actually start jumping fairly much forward. And that's usually the sort of spin that a right-hander would put on the ball if he was looping and putting a curving loop. And now we're looking at just the spin in the other direction. Again, heavy side spin, and you can still see the curving of the ball in flight and kicking off the table, and just adjusting a little bit there. So with just a little bit of racket angle adjustment, it starts to go towards the net post, and with a little bit more, pointing that racket more towards the 45-degree mark, I'm now starting to get that racket the ball to actually go much more forward, which is really just how we in essence handle the different spins our opponents put on. We use a lot of racket angle manipulation to adjust for the effect.